Okay, here is another class, guys, on some random phrasal verbs. If you like these classes, I say this every time, come to my website, buy a course. This is from the Phrasal Verbs course. You can find it on the home page. And if you use the coupon code 10, it only costs £10. And I give you a free speaking class. In fact, lots of my students get lots of free speaking classes, and they only pay a very small amount. And so if you want free speaking classes, why haven't you bought a course yet? So, random phrasal verbs with B. We looked at A and B in previous classes, and I'm hoping to just give you lots of examples of how we use these phrasal verbs in sentences, because I think it's a lot easier to understand the meaning. So, brighten up can have at least two different meanings. You can say, I hope the weather brightens up before the picnic, for example. And remember that we often say it for weather. It is raining, it is sunny, and so you can also say, I hope it brightens up before the picnic. So both of those are possible. And remember that brighten up is the opposite of cloud over. Yeah, when it clouds over, the clouds create a ceiling in the sky. It's very difficult for pilots to fly, and it's suddenly a cloudy day. And we say it, or the weather, clouds over, but usually it clouded over at 3:30, yeah, something like that. So they're opposites. And you can also say he brightened up when he heard the good news. And here this means he cheered up. It's exactly the same as he cheered up. He brightened up, he cheered up, but there is a little difference, because we don't say his face cheered up, but we do say his face brightened up when he heard the good news. And we even say his face clouded over when he heard the bad news. Okay, we don't say he clouded over, we don't really say his face cheered up. We don't use those two, but we do say his face brightened up, or his face clouded over, or even he brightened up. Yeah, and so be aware of which ones are possible. You can say he brightened up, his face brightened up, and you can only say his face clouded over. Yeah, you can't say he clouded over. That's not possible. Okay, so always be aware of which ones are possible. You can say his face clouded over. Yeah, so I want to make that clear. It's not he, but his face clouded over when he heard the bad news. Okay, so you can see that brighten up and cloud over are basically opposites. Bring back now. This has a few different meanings. You can say this photo brings back so many warm memories. And so usually things bring back memories, and that's why I've underlined it. Bring back memories, meaning that something makes memories return to you. It elicits memories. It suddenly makes you remember certain events. So this photo brings back so many warm memories, but you can also say this photo takes me back to my childhood. And I think it's very similar to bring back, but remember that take somebody back. Yeah, this photo takes me back to my childhood. This photo brings back so many memories. Now there are other forms of bring back. Bring back also means revive an old law, or anything which used to be used, any process which used to be used. If you bring it back, you reintroduce it. So we used to have the death penalty in the UK, hanging. And I'm a teacher. I'm very attached to schools, although I don't work in a school, it's true. But I do think that education is important. And so I think we should bring back the death penalty, which in England was hanging. We should bring back the death penalty for anyone who closes down schools for long periods of time, as happened a few years ago, or anyone who locks down children. And I'm trying to show you some new phrasal verbs here. If you close down a school, you close it for a protracted period of time, for a long period of time, and it's obviously very bad for children. It's very detrimental to their mental health and development. And if you lock down children, that's also very bad for children. It will spoil their development. It spoils their social development and their ability with languages, for example, because they're not able to socialise every day. And that's how we improve our language abilities. And so, yeah, I'm in favour. I would like to bring back the death penalty for people who want to impose a lockdown on our children.